I was dressed a vicious stepmother. In order to complete the system KPI, I commanded my eldest son to wash clothes and mop the floor, and my youngest daughter to clean windows and read every day. Until a year later, the male protagonist brought Bai Guang home. I took the initiative to pack my luggage, ready to be kicked out, and flew to the Maldives to meet a male model. Bai Guang pointed at my suitcase and asked me to leave all the gold and silver jewelry. But my eldest son said, "Don't be afraid, Mom. You go first. I'll be there soon." The youngest daughter nodded in agreement. "We don't want this junk. My dad has a safe. Wait for me to pry the lock and send all the money to you, the male protagonist, my host. You just need to maintain the persona of the vicious stepmother, abuse them, make them suffer and despair. Wait until the male protagonist brings Bai Guang back, the young Xiao Yu Guang's motherly love, and you will complete the task. The reward is 40 years of permanent youth." I was so moved that I burst into tears. This system is to understanding. A woman is a girl until she dies. This is more exciting than money, okay? As for money, there is no need to worry. In this villa, any ornament is worth 1 million. When I am kicked out, I will secretly install a few of them, which will be enough for me to spend lavishly for the rest of my life. When I finish this order, I will go to Nanjing University. I immediately promise, "Yes, sir, I guarantee to complete the task." The system agreed happily and gave me 3 conditions. If the task is difficult, you can call him for help 3 times. I looked at the 2 chubby little babies in front of me, who were not even as high as my knees. I snorted coldly. To play with them is just like playing with dogs. "Go and bring the watermelon." I pointed to the eldest Zuchen. In the future, he will be decisive and ruthless. In addition to his sister from the same mother, only Bai Guang's mother can be taken seriously by him, but now he is just a steaming little chicken. He squatted on the carpet in humiliation, watching me cross my legs and lie on the sofa. For me, he stared with disbelief. His little mouth moved in grievance, and finally resigned himself to the fate of inserting the watermelon into my mouth. "From now on, your snacks will be confiscated by me." Housekeeper, sent all these potato chips, jellies, and pork jerky to my room. Zuchin's chin trembled because he was the grandson of the Zhu family. The salary was too much to spend, and the food, clothing, housing, and transportation were all top-notch. I heard that the water we drink is the newly melted snow water in the Alps, which is rich in minerals. The vegetables we eat are cultivated by a special person, and a master's degree from the agricultural college is hired to ensure that they are green and pollution-free. In short, the food is very good, and the pork belly content is very high. I'm going to start the first task from their fat bodies, losing weight. You don't keep your word. Zhu Chen's eyes were filled with tears, and he was trying to protect his sister behind him like an elder brother. "We agreed that you would not abuse us if we handed in our pocket money." As soon as he finished speaking, Zuzu cried out, "Wow!" My eyes lit up, but I still suppressed the ecstasy in my heart and added slowly, "Pocket money must be handed in, and snacks must be handed in, and snacks must be handed in." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhu Chen's face changed, and he silently clenched his fists, impotent and furious. I looked up to the sky and howled. Sure enough, snacks are the lifeblood of all children. Zhu Chen was not convinced. "You are abusing me. I want to tell my dad. I really—" "You said it. Whoever doesn't complain is a puppy. This girl wants abuse." "Go ahead and sue. The louder the better." On the third day of becoming a vicious stepmother, Zhu Chen, who refused to give in, did not give up. He called his father 18 times a day, but his father did not reply at all. Counting the days, his father should have met Bai Guang in France. The heroine was busy dating and had no time to care about his son born from a business marriage. Zhu Chen did not give up and called his grandfather. The old grandfather was not so cruel. He sent someone to knock me down and gave me a black card, asking me to not embarrass his little grandson for the sake of money. I held the black card in my hand. This made it very difficult for the old slave. On one hand, I was always 18 years old, and on the other hand, I had unlimited black cards. Oh fuck, for the sake of money, I decided to treat Suchin better and personally make him a light meal tomatoes, lettuce, I sprinkled with invincible salad dressing, delicious and colorful. Zhu Chen stared at the plate of grass on the table in disbelief, angry but not saying anything. I glanced at the soft and sticky little girl next to me and said kindly, "Starting today, there will be a prize winner reading competition. Whoever finishes this plate of grass first will be rewarded with a chicken breast." As soon as I finished speaking, Lian Xiao's I bowed her head and boasted wildly, not. Being a stepmother is so cool. Being a vicious stepmother is also troublesome. Xiao Ding's grades are not standard, and the teacher will find me first. I was still happily doing the manicure when a call came from the school. "Hello, are you Zuzu's parents? Your child ranks last in piano class. Please come over." My mind was confused, and I went through the plot several times before I realized that something was wrong. Zuzu would be the youngest cellist in China in the future music scene. If she hadn't been delayed for too long when she was a child, she could even enter the international arena. But even if he was a late comer, he was already a top talent. What does failing the piano have to do with him as a cellist? I hurried to the school, and as soon as I came in, I heard the teacher scolding Zuzu. "The piano keyboard has higher and higher notes from left to right, and you don't remember this basic knowledge at all. I don't know what's the point of your family spending so much money on you to learn piano. It's all a pig's brain." Zuzus Obden cried a grieved lie. My anger suddenly came out. He took my money and abused my child, who gave him the courage. The teacher glanced at me with a squint and raised his head arrogantly. "I can't teach your child. You should ask someone else." The male protagonist, beloved by Yu Guang, played a piano piece to perfection. The male protagonist naturally thought that girls should learn piano, and he signed up Zuzu for a famous teacher class at a high price. In order to please the male protagonist, the original vicious stepmother forced Zuzu to practice, and she was beaten up if she played badly, forcing the little girl to become mentally disabled. I sneered twice. I am familiar with this trick. It is nothing more than creating emotional anxiety for parents, forcing them to pay more for their children to continue studying. But I am a vicious stepmother. It is impossible for me to increase the money. Refunding the money is better. I sat down on the sofa, crossed my legs, and said, "If you can't teach, don't teach." My husband has paid for 300 classes in total, 5,000 yuan per class. Including this time, you have taken 53 classes in total, and there are 247 classes left. 235 million. Refund the money, scan the code, or cash. I thoughtfully opened the payment code. The teacher was so angry that he trembled all over. He pointed at me. You are so vulgar." I laughed. "It is vulgar to ask you to refund the money because of love." The teacher was very stubborn and continued to throw dirty water. "I know it's not easy for you parents, so let's put it this way. In the future, each class will be extended by 1 hour, and it will still be calculated according to the class fee. I will charge you 7,500 yuan for one class." "Oh my, it's only 7,500 yuan. You are so wrong." I waved my hand, saying that I don't like to trouble others the most, and I don't like to take advantage of others. "Just refund the money." The teacher was so angry that he gritted his teeth and scanned the code to refund the money in a fit of anger. He threatened that with an unreasonable parent like me, it would be impossible for a famous teacher to be willing to teach my child. "Wait, did I let you go?" I pointed with my little hand, and the bodyguard closed the door obediently. The teacher was furious and shouted, "What do you want to do? I tell you, this is a society ruled by law. You will go to jail." The sound was so loud that it almost shook my earwax. I picked my ears. "It's you who will go to jail." I checked the surveillance. It was full of videos of him insulting and abusing Zuzu. The teacher was stunned. "You are monitoring me." I rolled my eyes. "Please, this is the Zhu family's piano room. If any piano is lost, it will be enough to buy your life. Do you want to install surveillance?" the teacher said sarcastically. I scolded him to encourage him. I sneered. "As a vicious stepmother, I specialize in dealing with social scum. Since you said so, I won't be polite." I started to scold, starting with mom. Mom as the main word and dad as the auxiliary word. He was so angry that his eyes turned red and he gasped, "You are attacking me personally. I will sue you." I threw the USB drive on the table and said arrogantly, "Sue me? But before that, I will publish the video of you abusing children in the school so that all parents can see your true face." The teacher's face turned green. Went to an aristocratic girls' school. The normal salary of teachers is very low, and the main source of income is the tuition fees for tutoring students. Once I post these videos in the group, her reputation will be ruined. Under my intimidation, the teacher cried and apologized to Zuzu and told her, "You are a very good and great child." Zuzu's eyes were full of little stars. On the way home, she kept calling him good mother. Oh my God, I wailed in my heart and I glared at him. "Shut up," calling bad mother. Zuzu was wronged. No, Mom helps me beat bad guys. She is the best mother in the world. I clenched my fist to intimidate him. "If you call me again, I will sew your little mouth shut." The little girl wailed and quickly raised her little hand to cover her mouth. After a while, I asked quietly, "Aren't you angry?" After all, he was forced by me to practice the piano every day before. Only in this way could he shoot a perfect video to send to the male protagonist, who was far away overseas for a red envelope. Now that his financial resources have been cut off and such a big thing has happened, it is indeed abnormal not to punish him. I said fiercely, "Of course I am angry. As a punishment, you will eat double the amount of beef and eggs tonight." Zuzu's face really showed a painful look. However, stop work in production but not learning. Even if the piano class is stopped, other classes must be attended. "Humph, one class a day, that's it." I pinched Zuzu's chubby face viciously. "Starting tomorrow, you will change to learning cello." Yuzu's eyes were confused. She didn't know what a cello was. Not, the cello is a superior instrument. "You naughty girl, just wait to suffer." As soon as he got home, Zuchen noticed that his sister's eyes were red, as if she had been crying. He clenched his little fists and rushed up to me without saying a word, wanting to fight with me. I stretched out my hand, pressed the top of his head, controlled him half a meter away, and watched him swing his fists. He shouted in humiliation, "When I grow up, I will tear you into pieces." Yo, tear into pieces. At such a young age, he was actually equipped with it. Zuzu hurriedly explained that I did not bully him. "I'm the one who bullied you, so what? Starting tomorrow, you too can have one cello class a day, and neither of you can miss a class. In this family, when the male protagonist is not here, I'm the boss." Under my command, one of the two kids massaged my shoulders and back, and the other fetched water to wash my feet. During this time, Susan suddenly looked up and asked, "Why you want to learn cello if you don't want my eyes?" and said, "Of course it's because it's cheap. A piano class costs 5,000 yuan, and a cello class costs 3,000 yuan, which is nearly double the price. He pocketed it and made hundreds of thousands of yuan. Zuchin was so angry that he almost fainted when he heard this. There is another important reason for changing to learning cello. In more than 20 days, the male protagonist will inspect Liang Zhao, the HI's studies. If I pass the assessment, I will be rewarded with a generous reward. Otherwise, I will not. So, for this money, I have to rush. The teacher I hired for Zuzu was an unknown teacher, but no one knew that he was actually the last disciple of the famous cellist Professor Wall. If the little girl's talent is discovered by him and recommended to Professor Wall, wouldn't the male protagonist get a lot of rewards? The more I thought about it, the more excited I became. Wait for the male protagonist to come back and kick me out. I will be rich and handsome, the little milk doll of the Maldives. Here I come. When Zhao Chen was massaging my back, he secretly exerted his strength, and I was shocked by the pinch. Well, the pinch is good, very strong. What I said next put him into a cold ice cellar. "You are a good seedling from martial arts. Since you don't like Teacher Chen, don't learn cello, learn martial arts instead." Zuchen, I did what I said and immediately found a martial arts teacher to train Zuchen one-on-one. I secretly told the teacher, "Tell him to increase the intensity for Zuchen." Zuchen stared at me with resentment and glared back. "What are you looking at? If you look at me again, I will dig your little eyes out." Suchen turned his face away and endured it silently. I just like him who looks down on me and can't beat me. Under my high-intensity abuse, Liam Xiao's eye are ranged. She went to bed at a certain time every day. Her biological clock was adjusted very regularly, and she didn't even have time to hate me. Zuzu successfully got the ticket to eat Professor War. The male protagonist was very happy to hear the news. He waved his hand and rewarded me with a set of jewelry yellow and bright, almost blinding my dog eyes. Chen sneered, "You really haven't seen the world. This set of jewelry is only worth 10 million. I took a breath and my eyes lit up instantly. So much? I carefully hid the jewelry. I didn't expect to get so much money by educating Liang Xiao's eye. I touched my chin, thinking heavily and looking at Su Chen in front of me. The little girl has already used up everything. Why not start with you next? The male protagonist gave me 2 million living expenses a month and was responsible for all expenses of the villa. In order to save expenses, oh no, it was to train Liang Xiao's IHI's thrifty virtues. I decisively dismissed the gardener and driver. Please, the Zhu family lives in a luxurious villa, and there is a kindergarten for nobles in the community. It is only 500 meters from the door to the kindergarten. Why do they need a driver? At my strong request, Zhu Chen ran forward every day. I put on my fitness clothes and waved my hand. Go. Zhu Chen rolled his eyes silently, and I flicked his head with my backhand. No respect. Take a walk after dinner, live to 99. Do you understand? Zhu Chen muttered, stingy. Huh? Am I stingy? It's obviously a local exercise. Forget it, a local exercise. Forget it. Even if I tell the little brat, he won't understand. There are luxury cars all over the front of the kindergarten, and all kinds of car logos dazzled me. Oh my, this is simply a large-scale floating scene. Just when I secretly made up my mind towards me and looked, are you greedy? See the kids eating meat buns in front? I looked forward along the direction Zhu Chen was looking. 4 or 5 little boys gathered together, jokingly looking at Zhu Chen, and the boy in the lead had red lips and white teeth, and looked 70 like Zhu Chen. After my repeated requests, the system finally came online. Yes, he is Chen's half-brother. Back then, their mother was forced to marry the male protagonist in a business marriage and ran away with her childhood sweetheart after giving birth to Zhu Chen and gave birth to Gunayan the next year. Damn it. Do all rich people play such a big game? The system got excited. Gunayan is the bully of the school. He looks down on his brother Zhu Chen and often bullies him. Hosts take this opportunity to bully Zhu Chen and get twice the result with half the effort. Okay, fine. I pinched my hands, received. No wonder mommy doesn't want you. You're as ugly as a pig. The little followers echoed. That's right. He doesn't deserve to go to the same kindergarten with us. Let's kick him out. As they were talking, some of the brave ones stepped forward and pushed Zihong as Zhu Chen's hands tightly grasped the corner of my clothes, and his eyes showed a viciousness that didn't match his age. Even if he is a domineering president who kills decisively in the future, he is just a bully will be now. I threw my school bag on the ground and shouted, "'Tis our bag on the ground," and shouted to Zhu Chen, "Go, Zhu Chen, I'm going. If others bully you, just do it." After that, Zhu Chen really rolled up his sleeves and punched the young child. After a long period of meat, eggs, and milk intake, Zhu Chen became strong and powerful. Under the training of the martial arts teacher, every punch and kick was very methodical. These little kids were no match for Zhu Chen. They were all knocked down. A group of little babies were beaten and cried loudly, which soon attracted the teachers of the park. The teacher stopped me. "Zhu's nanny, you are abusing children. Our school will definitely report this matter to the leaders and punish you severely." I waved my hair. "First of all, I am not nanny. I'm Zhu Chen's stepmother. Second, can't you see that they started at first with such a large surveillance?" The teacher was embarrassed. The gossip of the Zhu group is a secret in the aristocratic circle. To put it nicely, I am Mrs. Zhu. To put it bluntly, I am just an Annie, a tool used by the male protagonist to anger his father, and can only be regarded as a senior nanny. You can't beat someone like this. I pushed him away, pointed at the parents who were still behind me, and said arrogantly, "We're going to fight today. What do you want to do?" The teacher was stunned. "Are you kidding? As long as the male protagonist is online, The zoo group will be the largest table in this book. Everyone here will have to beg for food from the zoo family. How dare you make trouble for me? Are you going to die? They must have heard my speech, and the parents behind me were treated like birds and beasts. The teacher hesitated, blushed, and couldn't speak. And you, I pointed my finger at the little kids, headed by Boo Nyan. If you dare to bully Zhu Chen again, I don't mind giving you another bamboo board barbecue. The little kids were terrified and covered their butts. Gu Neon's face was flushed, staring at me with fire in his eyes. Ha ha ha. This is the effect I want. Stinky little friend, be angry. The angrier the better. While I'm gone, vent your anger on Zhu Chen and let him feel the evil of the kindergarten. On the way home, Zhu Chen was very awkward, hiding behind me, sometimes giggling, sometimes holding his head high like a little general, his two little hands flying in the air, and every time I looked back, he stood quietly like a quail. I laughed in my heart. Look, the child has been bullied so much, he is almost schizophrenic. It seems that this stepmother's vicious plan is very successful. The big lobster that the male protagonist airlifted from Australia has arrived fresh, and the two long whiskers are waving with their teeth and claws. Sure enough, the love of rich people is so simple and unpretentious. The male protagonist is far away abroad, and he heard the news about the kindergarten again, so he transferred 1 million to my card, saying it was a reward. At the same time, there was news that he was about to return to China. Listen, I said, this job is easy, right? Being a vicious stepmother also has rewards. Xiaozu's saliva was dripping with greed. Mommy, are we eating lobster tonight? The cute little baby voice made me soft. No, Mommy is having lobster tonight. You and your brother can only have nutritious meals. The girl's face fell, but she quickly adjusted her mentality under the temptation of lobster. Xiaozu doesn't want to eat beef and eggs. She wants to eat lobster. Is that okay? Although the baby is very cute, who told me that I am a vicious stepmother? It is impossible to be soft-hearted. No, the two little ones are very picky eaters. They don't even want to touch eggs and milk. They only like. I especially assigned a nutritionist to them. Meat, eggs, and milk were all served, and the two little ones complained repeatedly. Whoever can't finish it, who'll wash the dishes? Zhu Chen showed off his milk furiously, and Zuzu ate eggs aggrievedly. The male protagonist is about to return to China. I am thinking hard, preparing to do more bad things to hurt their young hearts. In front of them, I issued a house rule. From now on, the two little ones will move to my room and sleep with me. The big bad will fate the grandmother and put on her red skirt. He whispered to Little Red Riding Hood through the crack in the door. Grandma is so hungry. Is there anything you can give me to eat? The kind little Red Riding Hood handed the pancake to the wolf grandmother, but was suddenly grabbed by the wolf grandmother. I hid my hand in the quilt and grabbed Xiaozu's hand. Xiaozu was scared and screamed, "Sizzle!" wow, and hid in my arms. I laughed wildly in my heart. I scared them again. Zhu Chen turned his back to me and huddled in the corner of the bed pretending to sleep. Humph! I don't believe it. The little thing's ears are erected high, clearly eavesdropping on the story. I snorted coldly and vowed to read Andersen's fairy tales and tell them the most terrifying stories. Under my top secret revision, bedtime stories became Liang Shao, HI's most anticipated program. The little girl nestled in my arms with her doll in her arms. Mommy, did Lu's Ayayu end up together? My mouth twitched, and I reached out my hand to poke her little face viciously. This is not something that children should be involved in. Go to sleep. The little girl refused to sleep. No, I have already drunk all the milk today. Zuchi nodded in agreement. The dishes are also clean. Tomorrow my brother and I will make sure it is clean. Under my tyrannical power, Yang Xiao's I reported her work very sensibly. Damn! How can I let them control me? I turned on Baidu Encyclopedia and searched for the horror stories that children are most afraid of. As expected, Liang Xiao's age, I went out to school with a pair of panda eyes. I deliberately used eyeshadow to highlight the dark circles under the eyes of the two, hoping that some people would discover me as a vicious stepmother and then complain fiercely so that the male protagonist who is far away abroad would come back and kick me out. Rob. As a result, the next day I received a call from the kindergarten. I was delighted, thinking that Wazuchin was bullied again in kindergarten. I kicked open the office door and prepared to continue to speak, but I didn't expect to see Gu Nayan with tears on her face. Gu Nayan, what's wrong with me? The teachers didn't dare to provoke me. They felt that compared with these young masters, worth tens of millions, I, a super bear parent, was more difficult to provoke. Ask yourself, under the attack of my evil stepmother eyes, the arrogant Zhu Chen was defeated. Luzi H. Shen Linda, you are not together, he was angry and cried. The teacher explained. Zhu Chen is telling stories in kindergarten, 99 yuan per month, one episode per day. Today, he went on strike and refused to continue telling stories. Gu Nayan asked for a refund. I remembered that I didn't continue to make up stories last night and just found a horror novel to scare them. The teacher stood in a corner and looked at me with resentment. Okay, fine. The rich young man successfully transformed into a storyteller. Zhu Chen continued to speak. What's the matter? Don't you let people ask for leave when working in your company? The teacher closed his eyes in pain. Wow, this child even learned to say it freely. Gunayan was aggrieved. Mom and Dad went to the Alps to play and haven't been home for a long time. I can only stay with the nanny grandma. The little bean looked at the twins in my arms with envy. I don't want your stepmother. I paid money to listen to stories. He stretched out his arm to wipe his tears and sat at the end of the bed with backbone without covering the quilt. You continue to talk. I spent money to listen to stories, and I will leave after listening. I said inferently, okay, then go and flush the toilet first. One housework, one story, no credit. Go, 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 all move. I held a little bit in each hand, and I drove all three little ones out of bed. One made tea and rubbed his back, one flushed the toilet and changed the garbage bag, and another fetched water to soak his feet cool. The hero is back. At first, I was still in the villa directing the three little beans to hammer the quilt and rub the shoulders, and the messy footsteps sounded from the door. The sound of the door opening rang, and the three little ones and I were stunned. The male protagonist was stunned. Gunayan, why are you here? At this time, Gunayan was wearing a queen's dress and a golden crown, and was about to give the poisoned apple to Cinderella. Gunayan's face flushed, and she hurriedly took off the queen's dress. Ex-husband, Dad, no. Uncle, I'm going back first. Bye, see you tomorrow. Gunayan picked up the hem of her skirt and fled madly, slipping out through the crack of the door like a big black rat. The male protagonist looked at me stunned. What are you doing? I waved the fairy wand in my hand, quite embarrassed. I said in transforming, do you believe it? He looked around the villa. The youngest daughter's ooze-oo was covered in dust, and her fair face was smeared like the bottom of a pot. The eldest son, Zhu Chenggong, was crawling on the ground with a thick black tail stuck to his butt. He saw his father looking over and responded excitedly. Zeiss. The male protagonist was furious. Now, immediately, right now, get out of here. I really was. Near the end of the mission, the system finally came online. Wow, host, you are very capable. Look at the male protagonist's expression. I give you 100 thumbs up. I had rehearsed all this in my mind thousands of times and immediately dragged out 3 large suitcases from the bedroom, ready to be kicked out. Unexpectedly, the 2 little kids protected me in front of me, glaring at their father fiercely. I don't allow you to bully Mom. The system was silent. The plot seemed to be wrong. I think so too. Su Chen seemed to dislike his father standing at the door blocking sunlight and stuffed the toilet plunger into his hand. From now on, you are the black magic fairy. Act for my mom. The male protagonist finally couldn't help but explode, holding a little kid in each hand, and casually threw them to the housekeeper behind him and shouted at me, take your luggage and get out. Okay, sir, I'll get out now. I didn't get out. I looked up and met the cold beauty's eyes. The beauty frowned and pointed at my suitcase. Are these all your luggage? I spread my wings to protect the economic food of my future milk dog. Come on, open it and have a look. Several tall and strong bodyguards immediately stepped forward to control me. The suitcases were opened one by one, and the things were displayed in front of me. The male protagonist's face was dark. Shark fin, abalone, New Zealand lobster, Sorry, I have a big appetite since I was a child. Bring more food to fill your stomach. The male protagonist's mouth twitched. Then why do you bring all these wires? Barbecue fish in the wild. Did he wires under the blue-green skin are golden? And I burst into tears in my heart. This is really not my fault. Who told you rich families to use 24K pure gold wires? These are all for my milk dog to fight 3 pounds in the future. The male protagonist threw my suitcase and pointed with his big hand. Get out! I was thrown out of the door and I was unwilling, boss. You threw the suitcase in the wrong direction. The 3 suitcases were thrown alone into the depths of the villa 50 meters away from my home. Su Chen yelled at me. Mom, don't be afraid. You go first. I'll be there soon. The little daughter nodded in agreement. We don't want this junk. My dad has a safe. Wait for me to pry the lock, and I'll send you all the money.